And I am not suggesting in any way that the Lord, that Christ was limited in anyhow, but it is interesting when you look at the atonement starting in the garden, how initially when he prays to the Father, he is saying, first he's saying, I'm willing, like I'm going to do whatever is asked. So his heart was in the right place. But he does kind of initially start off by saying, man, I really don't want to do this. Like, if there's any other way, like, please, I'm willing to do it. Obviously there wasn't. And then you see him go through this experience. And then by the end, when he's there suffering on the cross, everything at that point is 100% outward focused.
It is interesting because that's really the only time we see Jesus being tested. Because all of his other tests, all of his other tests where he was taken, into when he was fasting, the desert,
taken on the Temple
like
Mount,
those weren't real tests, right? Yeah, like he was presented with the test, but it was like there was never he didn't give it consideration. Like there wasn't we don't see elements of him like actually.
Yeah.
It was just like it's very symbolic of like, hey, he was already past all this, and like Gethsemane is where it's like it's very real for him, where he's kind of like this, like he has to actually do it. He has to commit to this, and it ain't gonna be fun. Yeah, like it's like like maybe he had already committed to living the life of a servant, and maybe there was some challenge that he went through in doing that. We don't really see that expressed. But like in Gethsemane, you can really see that's the one time you really see that the test, he was being tested, and like he vocally admitted like this is difficult. I do not enjoy the fact that this is going to happen to me.
Yeah,
I would prefer not to do this if it was not necessary, but I recognize it is necessary. Therefore, I submit. But
it's certainly
very sacred.
It doesn't imply in any way that there was sin there or transgression in any way. I mean, that's certainly not what we're saying, but it does show that as part of the onset of reality, of this trial and this difficulty that he was going through, even he realized, like, is there any other way? Like, is there any other option available, looking for that opportunity? But then what do we see that culminates on the cross? By him going through, and I think this is probably part of the knowledge that the Father had in that moment, is that, this sucks. There's not anything good about, there's a lot of good that will come out of it, but it's not fun in the moment. And the trial and the tribulation is severe to the utmost. I mean, it is the worst that you can suffer through. But for us, what do we learn here? That through that trial, through that tribulation, and through being willing to follow the Father, even when it's difficult, by the time he's there on the cross, his perspective is perfect alignment, perfect unity, and perfect love for anyone and everyone around him, regardless of what they did to him, regardless of how they persecuted him and the things they may have been saying or the things that they may have been doing to him. And so it seems to me that that's kind of in line with the idea of consecration, where, it may seem, I guess, initially as a hard trial or tribulation, but when you're asked to go through those difficult, intense trials, if you bear them well, if you go through them with that willingness, saying, okay, Father, whatever is required, I'm willing to do it. By the end of it, by the time you get through it, who you are and the strength and the fortitude you have and your unity with the Father is unbreakable at that point. You become that much greater of a servant.
Thank you for watching. If you found this content spiritually enlightening, please like, comment, and subscribe.
Like the gospel, these little things make all the difference, and it helps the algorithm push out better content for everyone to enjoy on YouTube.